Alright, hello everybody. Welcome back to the last game of 3DO block. It was short-lived, but I promise you're gonna be in for some, well, I would normally say a treat, but I'll just say an experience with this game.
AutoBahn Tokyo!
This is AutoBahn Tokyo. I'm gonna press start real quick here so that you're not spoiled on this game's visuals. This is a racing game, an arcade-style racing game. I'm just going to make sure that the music is set, and yep, we're good to go. Now, this is a warning, okay? I know a lot of people give warnings for flashing lights and such, stuff like that. This is a honest-to-goodness warning for frame rate, okay? This is no joke, alright? I was practicing this game a couple hours ago, and I got a major migraine from practicing this game. I had to take some Tylenol for this run. So, there's your warning. So normally I would start on this level because it's the hardest, but we're going to just start right with the first track in the game. Championship mode is 3 different races, and we're just going to dive right in. I select this red car because, well, it's got the best handling in the game. Normally for a speedrun you'd be like, well, why wouldn't you choose, the car with the best speed? This game, you're going to need every ounce of handling that you can possibly get, believe me. Alright, here we go. Yes, this game is on... This is pretty much the equivalent of virtual high glide for racing games. We go in the third person, of course. It looks okay right now, right? Oh, just you wait. Alright, so it's a pretty simple racing game. You can drift by letting go of gas, hitting the brake, and then jamming back on accelerator. Oh, there's my rival car just hitting me from behind out of nowhere. Pay attention to the sky, pay attention to the road. You're going to see things blink and come and go. For the sake of marathon safety, if I happen to lose a race, which is very possible, this is a very reset-heavy speedrun, because the AI in this game, namely my competition, is incredibly cheap, and will slingshot out of nowhere to beat me. Also, the controls are god-awful. It's as bad as you think it is. And traffic. If I get caught behind traffic one too many times, it's going to be really hard for me. Oh, there he goes. There's the slingshot that we know and love. So I'm only up against one other car, and towards the end of the track here, he always gains a huge speed boost. But he's kind enough to usually slow down and wait for me, as you see there. Very courteous competition. I should mention that this is being played on real hardware. Oh, there goes the switching clouds. This is being played on real hardware. This is not bad emulation. This is an actual copy of the game running on an actual 3DO. Don't adjust your streams, okay? This is how the game looks. At least we got some good bangers to go with it, though. So this game came out in 1995. 3DO released in 1993 for the low retail price of $699. So I'm sure everybody in Japan was thrilled when they got this as their first game with a 3DO, all 5 of them. So this released 2 years after Ridge Racer on the PlayStation, and same thing for Daytona USA on the Sega Saturn. 2 years before Gran Turismo on the PS1 as well. If you can't tell, the 3DO is not the best at handling 3D graphics, let alone JPEGs of clouds in the sky. Oh, there goes Mr. Slingshot again. Look at him go! The AI in this game is off the rails right now. Okay, ooh, wow, we avoided that. I'll be told right now, this is pretty clean. This is a pretty clean race. Normally, I at least smack the wall a few times and maybe hit a car here and there. Because, as it turns out, playing a game that runs at like 5 frames a second, that's a racing game, is not the easiest thing in the world. The really funny thing is when I bought this game, this is a Japan exclusive, by the way, which is why if you're a big 3DO fan, if you've never heard of this game, it's because it never came out outside of Japan. This was an exclusive for Japan, and there were a handful of them. There are some Japanese exclusive RPGs. Oh, hold on, we're coming to the final bend here. Here's where the AI is going to fly out in front of me. Let's hope it doesn't happen. Yeah, he's slingshotting right now. Oh, I just made it. Okay, so we won that one. We quit out and on to race number 2. Yeah, so this never got a US release. Doomed to obscurity. We're going to switch to... Ooh, which track did I want to do? Oh, let's give you the best song for the longest track in the game. This game makes you choose your music by backing out to the main menu between tracks to change the song. I'm doing it just for variety's sake so that we don't have to listen to the same song the whole time. Lose time, but it's worth it. Oh man, there's the real banger. Okay, so this level, unlike the previous one, is a straight track, similar to something like, oh, I don't know, Outrun, or an Initial D game or something. So instead of going and doing laps, we're just getting from point A to point B. This is the hardest track in the run. As you can see, traffic is nearly impossible to see coming. It's pretty much just a mix of pixels and polygons blending together. Oh yes, first traffic collision. Got to be real careful not to get stuck behind them. There's another one. Eventually, sometimes the game will let me pass through them. The cars won't have any hit detection. Maybe I'll get lucky. And other times, if I get stuck behind them, they eventually just disappear. Or they back up in reverse and go straight through my car. Also, this game has letterboxing. That is not like my screen being cropped the wrong way. This game, I guess, tried to improve its frame rate the best it could by letterboxing the action you see on screen. And this is typical. I mean, it's kind of expected to get hit by cars here. Really hard to avoid hitting some of this traffic around some of these turns, because the drifting, despite using the car with the best handling in the game, is very questionable. There he goes. Backed up right through my car. The funny thing is, when I bought this, I bought a demo of it as well. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Let's buy the demo with the actual copy of the retail version of the game. See if there were any differences. You know, maybe the earlier version was even worse. Turns out the demo for this, the demo disc, is the exact same thing as retail. Excuse me, thank you. Because the game is only 3 tracks. Boy, that turn was not cooperating. So if you buy the demo for this game, the trial, you're pretty much getting the full game. Great marketing on their part. Whoops, that's me trying to read chat. Don't try and read chat during AutoBahn Tokyo. Not a good idea. Gotta keep my eyes glued to these incredible polygons and textures. However, we should say, I kind of glimpsed and saw people talking about other racing games on 3DO. Not all racing games on 3DO look like this one, okay? This one's kind of the meme, this one's kind of the joke, but if you've ever played Road Rash, for example, that's kind of known as being one of the most impressive racing games on a home console for the mid-90s. That game is what you want to look at when it comes to what the 3DO is capable of for speed, or a racing game in general. That's sort of the benchmark. This is not the benchmark, okay? I love my 3DO dearly in all the games. I love all the jankiness, but I also want to make sure that people know that the 3DO has many good games. Some of the better ones actually remain in obscurity as a Japanese-only title. There's some really interesting stuff out there. Did you know that there's an RPG where you play as a cook? It's a turn-based RPG called Grand Chef. And you go through the game cooking recipes and also having turn-based battles. Like, there's crazy stuff like that, kind of tucked away in obscurity. And some of you may recall my Dr. Hauser speedrun in GDQ last year, or earlier this year. That's the world's first 3D survival horror game, fully 3D. Predating Alone in the Dark when it comes to... Well, not predating, but predating any other survival horror game that doesn't use pre-rendered backgrounds. There's some really crazy stuff on the 3DO. Okay, last song that I wanted to do was this one. And we are already on to the final track. This one is just one lap around the circuit. The AI on this one is pretty brutal. So if I hit one too many walls or one too many cars, it's pretty much over. So far I've won all the races though. Any of you that are fans of janky racing games like this, you should also check out C1 Circuit on the PlayStation 1. Japan-only racing game that is quite similar to this one. Frame rate's much better, but in terms of visuals and really messed up controls and car physics, you definitely want to check out C1 Circuit if you're into that kind of thing. Or maybe if you got a Jaguar, you want to check out Club Drive as well. One of my favorite Jaguar games. This level in particular has some of the hardest turns, so I'm going to be scraping some walls here for sure. Because they're really tight, and this game doesn't really accommodate tight turns like this. Yeah, if you're looking for other really weird racing games, this is one that most people are familiar with too, but Racing Lagoon on the PlayStation 1 is a weird racing RPG hybrid from Squaresoft. Oops, I thought I could get by that guy, but I definitely couldn't. This game is actually bringing my headache back again. It's why I can't practice this game for long stretches of time, because it's headache-inducing. It seriously is. Oh, this tunnel is the worst. After I drive through here, it's going to look like I'm going in reverse. Watch this. Oh, no, I hit the car instead. Couldn't get over in time. Let's see if I can pick my speed up. Here we go. We didn't get the effect, unfortunately. But the way you drive through there, it makes it look like I'm driving in reverse, and it's nausea-inducing. Oh, there he is. Rubber banding out of nowhere, but that time he gave me a bump from behind for a little bit of a speed boost. Well, I have to say, I'm getting really lucky on these turns. Normally my runs are not that smooth. I'm usually scraping the walls a bit more than usual. Part of the experience of this game. Okay, coming up to the final turns here. Yeah, that's why this game is a really short run, which is good, because I don't think people can handle more than 15 minutes of this game. Which is why I gave the frame rate warning early on. I think this honestly would have been a new PB if I wasn't selecting different music between tracks. Not bad at all. Alright, final turn. This is the hardest turn in the run coming up here, because this car always blocks my path. Let's see if we can do this. Oh, I hit the wall, unfortunately. But that speed loss is okay, because I kind of need to lose speed to get around that turn. And nice. Wow, that was smooth. 12:29. Yeah, that would have been a new PB if it wasn't for menu selection. But that's alright. It's worth it, because the music is a banger in this, and I needed you to hear more than one track. That's going to do it. Entry my name. We're just going to do the typical AAA. Alright. That's it for AutoBahn Tokyo on the 3D. Hopefully you and your eyes enjoyed. That's my last run of the marathon. Thanks again to RETROTHON for having me. Really appreciate it. Always thrilled to show off the power of the 3DO. Enjoy the rest of the marathon. Up next is Bishi Bashi Special for the PlayStation. Enjoy that one.